Is it possible to create a home that has a true spirit of gratitude?
Let's see what the Bible has to say about that.
All right, welcome to our podcast. We are going to be talking today about how to create a home that has a genuine spirit of gratitude, where everyone in it is generally grateful.
Yeah.
That may seem like a difficult and daunting task.
Yes. Yeah.
But to help us today, we are happy to have Heather, my wife, here.
I'm grateful to be here.
Classic. And Truett's mom as well.
Yes.
So we're glad to have her here. Heather and I have 5 kids. They're all now grown and married and starting to have children. So we have a little bit of experience in raising some children. And some of those years we did a lot that we really liked. Some of those years we did some things we wish we hadn't and wish we had done differently. And with now 9 grandchildren and 3 more on the way, there's more opportunities to
Very true.
to
Very
redo
true.
and undo and new do some things. So so today we're going to talk about that. Heather has always been the real heart behind our home, and she is the one who has conveyed onto our kids, I think, the general spirit of what it means to even be a believer and what it means to relate to other people. So with all that in mind, we set out to have a home that really did have a spirit of gratitude. So we'll listen to Heather today. I'll contribute some things as well, but she's our guest, our hostess with the mostest. We'll say today that comes to bring some wisdom to us.
So I'll ask the first question to you, Mom.
Yes.
What does it mean to you to have a home of gratitude?
Well, I have a definition that I wanted to read that I thought
Gotcha.
was really, really good.
Love it.
It says gratitude is being aware of and thankful for the good things that happen in your life and taking the time to express appreciation and return kindness. Being grateful is more than just saying thank you. When you express gratitude, it can actually lead to a stronger sense of well-being.
Love it. That's great.
So I thought that was a really good, concise definition of gratitude. It's the virtue of thankfulness.
Yes. Yeah. And
I
so
like that at the end there, a sense of what did it say?
Well-being.
Of well-being.
Yeah.
It puts you in a proper place of mental, emotional, and spiritual health. That,
Yes.
for sure.
The world, it's not all about me. I have been given much. So
Yes.
I like that, yeah.
And I've been around a lot of ungrateful children, and I knew I did not want that in my home.
Yeah. And adults.
And
Ungrateful
adults. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And so obviously the opposite of gratefulness would be complaining and demanding. And I think of Moses a lot of times. I did think I was like Moses when I had 5 little kids that were kind of demanding and wanting their own way, and how the children of Israel were just, that was kind of what they're known for, is just being very complaining after all that they had come through.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They didn't see the gratitude, and so
Definitely.
I did not want to have that in our home.
Definitely.
True.
So then the question has to be, is that even possible to have a home that is full of gratitude? Because that seems like a made up thing, or just an ideal world, or just a Christian speaking point. But instead, is that actually possible to have a home full of gratitude?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
It is. It requires work.
It does.
It requires a lot of intentionality. But the Bible, again, serves as our directive here. And 1 Thessalonians says, in everything we're to give thanks. And what it says is, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So if you ever want to know what God's will is, that is it. To be grateful in everything. And that is something, if God calls us to that, then it's something we can do, but only something He can equip us to do. So, yeah, it can happen. It can happen in a home. It does not happen naturally.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen by default.
For sure.
It happens with parents. It begins there, even if it's just one who intentionally sets out to make sure that that happens. And it's how we open the door to a home that's filled with peace. And the Psalms even say it's the doorway into entering even God's home, if you will, his presence. It says, enter his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. So God has defined his place that he exists as a place that if you want to enter in, it begins with gratitude. And I think that's what we have to determine for our homes is, okay, I want to make my place, my home, my environment, one of gratitude, where I say to myself and I say to our family, let's enter in to these doors with thanksgiving and enter into the fence with praise. Come on. If you're going to come in, let's come in right, and let's make that our goal. So
modeling and encouraging.
Yeah. That's good. It's good. So I thought we'd start today. Heather's going to get us to the place where we'll talk about the home, but I thought it'd be important to start with our heart, because you really can't have it in your home until you have it in your heart. It's got to, the atmosphere has to change here before it can happen and change in your home. Exactly. So
you can't force gratitude.
It's true.
Apart from displaying it as well.
That's true.
Right.
It's true. It's not something you can
law
into existence. You can force someone to say it.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
But that doesn't mean that they have it or have it in their heart. So I think if we're going to deal with our own heart first, we have to lay down some ground rules and some understandings. The first is this, that understand that gratitude does not come naturally. Again, it's not built into the default of man. It's not in the DNA package that we are born with. In fact, the opposite is what we're born with. We're born with expectation and demanding and wanting and complaining and crying. We don't get our way. I mean, that's how we live the first year or so of our life is when we want something. We don't say, hello, please, can I have some food?
And then thank you so much for feeding me.
That's right.
Doesn't happen.
We're born crying to express need, and it's usually sad or angry, and it's just the way we're born. And so for a child to begin to be thankful, they would have to have that modeled in front of them. Yes. They would have to be trained to do that. It doesn't just happen because you want it to happen in your home. It doesn't happen by random coincidence. It happens when our heart first has been born again.
Yeah.
We have been redeemed from our old ungrateful, selfish heart, and we've been redeemed into a heart that is grateful. And that's where it has to begin. So understand gratitude does not come naturally. Number two, realize that the atmosphere of your home is shaped by the atmosphere of your heart. We, as parents or the adult in the space, we are the thermostat of gratitude. We will set the temperature. And so what we say, what our heart is like, what we do will set the tone for the whole house. And if they hear us complaining and silent or angry and upset all the time, well, guess what? We're setting the thermostat at, and everyone else will become that temperature. So, but on the other hand, if they hear us grateful and hear us expressing gratitude and they sense it, by our spirit even, then they have the chance to develop that themselves.
Absolutely. They have a framework to see, this is what the leader does, and this is the result of their actions. I want that.
Yep. And then third, excuse me. Third, I'd say personally, and again, this is all just within us. Before we even talk about the home, we're talking about our heart. And we live in such a day that we have to be very careful that we don't buy into the easy culture that our easy attitude that the culture has today, and that so permeates everything today. It's this selfish, I want my way, I feel it, I demand it, I expect it, I'm offended if I don't get it attitude. That's the cultural model before us today. And so it's kind of, our kids and us are up against a battle here.
Yeah.
Because the environments that we walk in, anytime you interact with the culture around us, you see that. And to the degree that the culture is in and around your home, you see that.
Yeah.
And ungratefulness or ingratitude is really a very dangerous thing. I think sometimes it gets played off as, well, it's not that big a deal.
It's all right.
I mean, just because you don't know your manners, it's not that big a deal. But it really is a big deal. The Bible has a lot to say about unthankfulness, ingratitude. You find warnings, strong warnings in the Old Testament and New Testament, but especially in 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says, "But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come." Okay, I could kind of get with that. Dark times come. Then he describes it. He says, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful.
Yeah.
That right there in the middle of the list of all the things that cause perilous times and define perilous times is this quality of being unthankful. And he goes on to say unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. But in the midst of all that is they were unthankful. So this is not just a light quality to miss. This is not just, we can do or not do this. Then you find in Romans 1 the same thought process as Paul is laying out the downward spiral of a culture that has rejected God. And here's what he says. He says, because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful. So these were people, Paul says they knew there was a God. They knew he is God, but they didn't glorify him. And the thing is, they weren't thankful. This began to be the spirit about them. And as a result, Paul goes on and says, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. And it started with unthankful hearts.
Yeah.
So it really drives home the importance of what we're talking about here. This is not just, that'd be a nicety, but this is a necessity.
Exactly.
If you want to change the culture of your home, it has to start with a spirit of gratitude.
Yeah.
If you want to change the culture, it has to start with a home that's created with this spirit of gratitude.
For sure.
So I think that's where we start today. We start with our heart. Okay, God, I want to be humble. I want to be willing to receive, and then I want to be grateful for all that you give to me.
Yeah.
And I should be in this position.
For sure. Because, I mean, with unthankful, with the people who are unthankful, it's because of pride. And it takes humility to say, you gave me something that I didn't have, and it took your sacrifice for that, you know?
Yep.
And that you can't be prideful and thankful at the same time.
Right.
They are counter to one another.
And again, I'll go back to the article that you read earlier. It has a general sense of well-being.
Yeah.
Yes.
It puts you in a place of emotional, mental, spiritual health.
Right.
It gives you perspective. It gives you the right way of viewing life. And gratitude is where this all starts. So, oh God, let that start in us first, in our hearts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
All right. So with all of that being said, talking about the heart and how that affects the home, now we're going to go to the home.
Okay.
And we're going to see what's ahead there. So what do you got for us? Some points?
I do have some points. Number one is to practice gratitude at home every day. And there's so many opportunities for this.
Yeah.
You model and teach. Thank you. I mean, just from when they're tiny, little, I mean, 1-year-old. I mean, we've got like so many right now that, I mean, we're always saying, say thank you, say thank you. And they do. They're getting it.
Yeah.
And,
It might come out as did do.
That's right. It does. But
But
the
they're
spirit
learning.
is there.
And that's what helps cultivate that spirit of gratefulness. Is you have to start with the baby steps, obviously, and then work your way up to where someone is able to, on their own, develop that. They gave for me, I'm thankful for them and for this thing that happened.
Yeah. And kids pick up not just on saying the word, but the attitude behind it.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
So we model that. We model that in our tone of voice and truly from our heart, because a child, again, may not be able to understand the exact words we're saying, but they can surely pick up on the spirit of what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's important that both of those things are communicated. And man, we live in a culture today where it just everything rages against that kind of gratitude.
Yeah.
So
And we also it's challenging too because we live with there's a expectation of instant gratification. Like, I mean, we've got our little 3-year-olds who say, "Just order that from Amazon. It'll be here the next day."
Yeah,
and they know, and it's true. And you know, we don't have the long. I was thinking about the Little House on the Prairie episode that I watched. I love that show. But the values there of there was a boy who he wanted a BB gun so badly, and his dad said, "You know what? You can get that gun. You just need to work all summer for it." And he did, and he worked, and he saved, and he'd go by and look on the window, and it's still there, and he worked, and he paid with that gun with his money. Yeah. And he felt very proud of it. Yeah. That is not happening as much today.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
It really isn't.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember as a child getting the Christmas catalog that came, you know, and it usually show up September, October-ish, and then I spent all my time looking through it, you know, and then checking things, circling things, and wanting, you know, and talking to my parents about it. And there was always the awareness that, okay, it's going to take some time.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, some time is going to pass before I possibly, maybe.
And usually it would be a special occasion to get something.
Yeah. There would be a little tension develop so that you could say, all right, I really want this, and it's going to take some time. Right. And then whenever you did get it, because of the waiting, it made you even more thankful, even more grateful. That's and whenever there's like hey, I want this, here it is. The next day, you're like,
the next day,
got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. You know, there's not as deep of an appreciation. Right. Not that Amazon is bad, not that instant is bad, not that any of that stuff, but it does not cultivate the waiting and the, hey, I stuck with this even whenever it was hard. I still wanted this even whenever I didn't get to have it immediately.
Yeah. It just means we have to find other ways to cultivate that for our children and help them put all that together. Because there's a sense in which gratitude grows the longer you have to wait for the thing to happen. You know, the farmer planting and waiting for the crop to grow and then the fruit to be produced. Or the thing you pray for, it takes days, weeks, months, years to see the results, maybe.
And that person is way more grateful for that whenever it happens rather than just instant access.
Yeah. All back to your point of, yes, we have to practice that in our home every day. It's something we have to teach and train. It's not natural.
Because no one wants to just wait for things to happen that they could get, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the typical thing that happens among little kids is one child is playing with a toy. One child walks up and wants that toy and takes
Snatches
it. And they don't have a sense of asking, "Can I play with that toy?" And then waiting until they say yes.
Yeah.
That little teaching moment, those powerful. That's teaching gratitude in the moment of waiting.
Yes.
Saying thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. What else do you have for us?
So you practice it in the home, but also practice it when you're out with your kids, out at the store, out at church, out at where else do you go? School.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those places. So it's not just when we're at home do we do this. Yeah. We're doing this now. It's wherever we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you thank the checker at the store. Let your kids see that. Say, you know, show appreciation to the Amazon delivery guy who comes to your door.
Exactly. Even though they're just doing their job. It's not that they're, you know, they did 5 backflips as they went forward.
Correct.
But just even in the natural progression of things, still showing gratitude for, hey, thank you very much for all of these things.
I think that sends a powerful message to kids that this is not just something that happens within the confines of our house. This is a way of life for us. It goes with us wherever we go. It's something we are, not just something we do in this setting. It's easy for that to develop. You know, it's easy to associate, okay, I do religious things at church and I do certain things at home.
Yeah, the nice things at home. Yeah. And whenever I'm on my own.
But now I'm going, because what you're wanting to do is teach your children to live this way when they leave your home.
Yeah, exactly.
So, by doing that wherever you go, you help set the framework for that. It's good. It's good.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yes.
Sorry.
Ask your children what the best part of their day was. That can just spark some great conversation in being grateful.
Because they're going to talk about, oh, I really liked it today. We went out to play outside at school. Or, I really liked it when my aunt came over. Or I liked it when we got pizza for lunch, whatever.
Yep.
And helping them connect that moment and God and gratitude is something that has to be taught.
That's right.
Yes.
You teach that. And so it's a great way. You start off by just asking, hey, so what did you enjoy most about going to the park today? What did you like most about school today? What did you like most about when we went on this vacation? Those all recall a favorite moment, and then it's the setup for this is a moment to be grateful that God provided that. Isn't that awesome? He did that for us.
That again is that's how you cultivate gratitude, and you got to take the small steps at a time. Your kid is not going to have this elaborate, huge, stories, and here's why I'm so grateful and thankful for all of these things.
Right.
But to start connecting the dots, even at a younger age to develop that. And if they're older, it's not that, they're grown, they can't start learning this, but it's good to cultivate that so that they're set up for their life as well.
Correct.
It's good. It's good.
True. Very true.
All right.
So we have to find creative ways to show gratitude to others. Now, this can be very fun. With family, friends, teachers, church staff, police, firemen, trashmen, all of those. Help your kids make some cookies for the policemen down the street, or I know a family. I thought this was such a great idea. They leave like water bottles and granola bars for the UPS delivery guy.
That's awesome.
And I thought that's very creative.
That's great.
And very thoughtful.
And it's relevant, and the kids can even see the UPS or Amazon delivery person or whatever, say, hey, they got to take part in this, and the kids like, that's awesome. I see how all the dots connect here.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you get a chance to be at the door when they're there, say thank you, or that just helps connect all the dots, as you said, together. And you're creating this environment. Okay, this is what we do here in this setting. There's a spirit of joy here. There's a spirit of thankfulness here. And you find creative ways to do that. Yeah. And whatever the child's gifts or interests are could play into that as well.
Exactly.
They like to color or paint or cook or whatever it might be. I think there's opportunities there to use their skills, their gifts, to express gratitude.
And asking them, hey, how should we say thank you to this person? And they could come up with some fun, crazy way or something like that.
Yeah, that helps it come from them.
Yes.
From their heart.
Yeah,
from what God has given them abilities to do. That's good. That's awesome.
Shape the spirit of your home by what comes into it. And so whatever you allow into your home through any sort of media, it does affect you as much as you like to think it might not. It really does.
So you're talking about music, you're talking about TV, movies, video games, conversation, all of that. Whatever comes in is obviously going to affect the atmosphere, the spirit of your home.
Yes.
You reap what you sow. It's just simply put, it's everywhere in the Bible. You reap what you sow. You can try to talk your way out of all of the things, but and not that everything that not that everything that goes in that you can't filter those things out, but it will come out in some way.
It's true. And
Well,
it's work. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I was just remembering when our kids were pretty young. I think they were preteen.
Somewhere.
You were little. There was a song that it was by a Christian band. And I honestly do not know the name of the band or even what the song was about, but the chorus of the song just said, "I hate the way I feel tonight." And it repeated and repeated and repeated.
It's true.
And so our kids were dancing around the house singing that line. And I just turned that off and said, nope, we're going to find another song.
I think we listened to it on Wow Hits 2004 or 2003. On the CD, we put it in the...
Yeah. It had a catchy kind of,
it was
Christian grunge rock.
There you go.
Yeah. And they would, it was kind of built up. You just want to wail this out, whatever's at this chorus. And they did. And It was catchy.
It was. I don't even know what the song was about still to this day.
To this day.
Do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about, well, I had no idea what he was talking about.
I don't know. It's this. I know the song is called "The Way I Feel," and it was by a band called
He was having
12
a bad
Stones.
day, I guess, and that's
That
I'm
night,
sorry for him. Or
Yeah.
that,
At least that
yeah,
night.
that night.
It was Christian,
Yes,
but what the end of the story was, our kids only remember
That's
that
what
line
it's all
and
I could not
sang
tell you
that line.
any other line of the song.
And so that obviously affects things.
Yes.
correct.
And so Heather was very sensitive to that and said, we're not going to do that. So, so it's still lodged in our minds.
Yes, yeah,
Of course, another interesting phase came whenever video games came along, and Hunter and Truett and I are playing video games. The girls somewhat, not as much, but
yeah.
for us, it's
Call of Duty.
it's Call of Duty and Halo and stuff, and some other war type games, which. I don't know that cultivates an attitude of gratitude necessarily, but
maybe for veterans.
That's true.
True.
That's good.
But there's a lot of sound that comes from that, and activity and action, and there were times Heather would question, "What in the world are we doing in there?" and why are they being so loud? And that doesn't sound like gratitude being displayed in there. Not that there was profanity or anything like that, but it's war. It's war sounds.
It was life and death, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what Hunter said. So, not that that's terrible.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those factors you just have to recognize.
Understand.
This is part of what we're doing.
Yeah,
and now we need to compensate to make sure this doesn't take over our home. And
Absolutely.
take over the children's minds and
Yes.
hearts, because that has a spirit about it.
Yeah.
That has a message. It has a thing that it
absolutely
cultivates in your heart.
Yes.
So you have to work then to make sure that that's just not how you start handling conflict,
Yes.
or how you handle
Absolutely.
relationships and thinking you're at war in every moment
Yes.
with everybody.
Yeah, and again, like on the whole video games topic, it's not that the video games in and of themselves are inherently bad or evil, but depending on the mindset of the person who's playing them,
Yeah.
you just got to evaluate what am I doing here? What is this? How is this impacting me? Being honest and real about that.
Yeah. And having some genuine conversation with your kids.
Yeah.
I think that's more healthy than just saying, no, stop that. You're not going to do that anymore.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that's going to
Yeah.
get you the place
Right.
you
It's
want
not.
to get.
Especially if they see the dad playing video games all the time, the kid wants to play,
That's
and then
true. You say no.
that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. All
Anyways,
right. Let's go on.
continue it.
Teach your children to pray with gratitude.
Yeah.
By saying, what do you want to thank God for? I know a lot of times we're always asking for something, but what can we thank God for?
Yeah. That's really good.
I think also being able to, as they're little, as the parent, have the dad say, "Aren't you so thankful Mommy made this meal tonight?
Yeah.
It's good.
Aren't you so thankful Mommy washed all of our clothes?" Those are things that the kids, they just think that just happens.
Yeah, that's
without
true. It's magic
any,
to them.
yeah, it's just magic to them.
That's true.
But to help them understand and put, she's actually doing a lot
Yeah.
Mhm.
But putting in the
during
work.
the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And for moms, aren't you so thankful Daddy went to work today?
Yeah.
Because God has given him this job to
Yeah.
provide and
Absolutely.
Good.
helping them to understand those things
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
little.
For
Because
sure.
it's not natural. They don't just think,
No.
"Oh, I'm just so glad that Dad's at work today.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just so
no,
grateful we have money
exactly.
coming
Yeah.
in.
I mean,
I'm
they'd
grateful
probably
that
much rather Daddy be home.
Yeah,
but they need
exactly.
to understand the
Yeah.
reason.
You got to
I'm
put in the
grateful my
grind.
clothes are clean.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for
exactly.
the food that just was prepared and brought to me,
Right.
and
Exactly.
for the house and the bed, all of that.
Yeah.
Without understanding the process of how things come to be, there can be no gratitude.
Yeah.
I don't think
Right.
so,
good.
unless they understand,
Yeah.
wow, this took work, this took sacrifice.
Mhm.
Okay, I understand why they're sacrificing for us or,
Yeah. It's good.
stuff.
All right.
All right. Talk together as a family at mealtime, holiday gatherings. What are some things that we can be thankful for?
Yeah.
We'll be doing this in just 2 more days.
Yeah, Thanksgiving coming
Yeah.
right up around the corner. And
Yeah, so this is always something that we try to do at most gatherings, even at meal times, though. You know, what
Yeah.
again, what favorite part of the day? What are you grateful for? Those kind of things. But especially, you come to Thanksgiving and other family times, we often would put together a couple of questions, and we'd all sit down to dinner at a big table together if we could. It's more difficult these days with 9 grandkids,
million people.
but to take some time while we're having our meal to say, what are 3 things that you are thankful for that happened this year? What are a couple of things that you are grateful happened in your life this year? What is something new God's taught you? All of those, it calls everyone to think a little bit, kind of evaluate life and put it in terms, again, of God did some things. I'm grateful for those. And then to say those things, to sit at a table, all look at one another, or sit in the living room and look at one another and hear each person say that. Well, it gives you a look into their heart, into their life. It gives you a look into, wow, I didn't even put together that happened and what God did in that moment. It just gives you a chance to see God at work in other people's lives and see God moving and see his hand. And that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Good thing to see other people express their gratefulness. It makes you look at your life differently. It makes you look at what God is doing. And this is how children learn.
Right.
Most of that kind of environment. It's good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then this last point is that help them. This is a little more challenging. Is to help them walk through being thankful even in the difficult times.
Yeah.
Don't go the way they wanted it to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's tough.
Because that's life.
That is.
Life around the house, as much as you want it to be sweet and wonderful and loving and kind. There are days like that. There's other days where the kids get angry and there's a conflict, and then they go to their room because you told them to go to their room, and someone slams the door and someone yells. All that stuff happens. And then, so you got to figure out, all right, how do we navigate through this?
How do we continue to cultivate gratitude?
Yes. And then they're going to have things happen in their life. Someone's going to push them on the playground. Someone's going to hurt them. Something's going to happen to them. Someone's going to reject them. And in that moment, helping them walk through, okay, what can we learn from this? Where is God in this? And even what can we be grateful for in this
There
moment?
is always something.
Yeah.
But
Thankful.
sometimes it takes someone else helping us to see that.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
True.
So
Yeah.
we live in a culture today that doesn't walk in that same path. The culture today is, I want my way. I'm gonna demand that I get it. If necessary, I will do what I have to make sure I get it, even if it means offending you. But whatever you do, don't offend me in the process. And so we're swimming upstream today. We always have been,
Right.
but the stream is stronger.
Yeah.
The culture is really raging against a sense of healthy well-being and gratitude for what God has done, who he is, and other people in our life.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful moment when you can help a child walk to the place where they are even grateful for the difficulty. Be able to say what the book of James says, count it all joy when you encounter various trials.
Yeah.
That's a very adult concept to begin with.
Yeah.
So if you can help your children slowly walk to that, you're creating that spirit of gratitude in your home.
You're planting the seeds, and what you reap, you will sow.
Yeah, it's true. And it's as tedious a work and difficult a work as it is for being a farmer. You till the soil, you remove the rocks, and you remove the sticks and old roots, and you plant seeds, and you water, and you wait, and you stay faithful in it, and you wait the long game. In that moment.
And it is worth it.
Yeah. It is worth it though. Yeah, because your goal is adult children.
That's right.
Who are grown and have a heart of gratitude. And so there is a payoff, there's reward. You can't force it. It's not
you can't law it into being.
Yep. In fact, if you try to demand it from an angry perspective or elevation, you'll actually thwart it. You'll actually
backfire on you.
You'll actually get the opposite if you try to force someone. Say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Exactly.
your spirit of what you're doing doesn't match the words
Right.
you're
Yep.
saying.
It's like you planted a seed and then you grabbed your gun and you just shot it. And you're like, I don't know why it didn't grow.
Yeah, exactly. As we said from the beginning, the spirit has to match the words. The heart has to match the
Yeah.
home. The atmosphere
Absolutely.
in here has to match the atmosphere out there.
Yeah.
And you cultivate it all in that way.
Absolutely.
So I was looking at a passage that I think really sums this up, and this really was our goal, and is a worthy goal for every believing home. It's from Colossians 3, verses 15 through 17. It says, "Let the peace of God rule in your hearts." So there's our let the atmosphere inside know that I have peace with God through my Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm grateful for that. To which you were called in one body, and be thankful. Be at peace with God through Christ, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, in your home, in all wisdom and teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. There's all the spiritual media influence. Singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. There's the verbal output of it. It's not just something I keep hidden. I display it in my worship. I display it in my words. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So such a beautiful text for us that sets up what we're talking about today. It is possible to create a home that has a spirit of gratitude. It is not possible apart from God.
Yeah.
It's completely dependent upon him. And it starts at the place where we are at peace with him and grateful for him. And from there, God will do the work. Yes, there will be difficult days in the parenting process, but we stay faithful in that process, and we keep teaching, and we keep training, and we keep reminding, and we keep demonstrating. This is not fake. This is not I'm putting on, but when I get behind closed doors, I yell and scream. That's not what this is. This is genuineness, because if you're faking it, you won't be making it.
Will not. No.
If you're faking it, you'll be breaking it in your
Yes.
kids. It will not.
Literally.
It will not happen.
Yep.
They will say, "I want anything but that."
Yep.
But when there's a genuine, heartfelt expression from a mother and from a dad who is willing to open his heart and not be guilting, shaming, condemning, fake, but genuine, humble, and grateful, you will create a home environment where that can be caught and taught. So, I'm grateful that Heather is with us today. Truett got to see all of these things in real time in our home, the good days and the tough days. So, we are grateful for the season, and it's our prayer that gratitude would become what is the spirit of your home. It is possible. It is doable through our Lord Jesus Christ. So keep lifting him up and living him out, and enjoy this holiday season.